Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTbase.com. Welcome to a weekly COT review. Today we're going to be looking at the 10th Commitment to Trade Report of 2020. And as we always do in these reviews, we shall start the analysis by looking at the largest changes in commercials positions, going through a few markets. And here we have soybean meal on top of our list with a 69% change in commercials positions, 71 in large speculators. Huge changes. Very dynamic move from traders. And of course, if you look at this 1 year time span, there's no question that this change is the largest change since then. It is of course a bearish COT change signal suggesting further weaknesses coming in this market in the near future. If we move on to the 5 year chart though, you may see that we are actually still in more of a bullish territory. So we are far away from those high bearish COT extreme levels. We are more closer to bullish extreme. So in the medium to long term, that actually suggests we may see some rise in this market, maybe not in the near term. Moving on to the euro market, here we have a 35% change in commercials positions, very large change size concerning this is a currency market. It is bearish, suggesting after this very dynamic move upwards in the euro, we may actually see a rebound coming possibly early next week. We'll see about that. These COT change signals tend to take their effects in the next couple of days after the report is published. If we move on to the 5 years chart, you may see that we are not at any major extremes, all-time or close to all-time extremes. We more or less in between the two. So that suggests, well, the last major COT extreme was actually bearish from 2018, and you can see very well signaled the top in the euro, and since then we've been witnessing this decline. Now we are not at a significant bullish extreme like the one I'm showing to you from 2015. There's plenty of space left to reach those levels, so maybe we might go back on this decline track. Who knows? One thing's for sure, the obvious signal that we have at the moment is this change in commercials position, suggesting some weakness coming in the next couple of days. Moving on to the oats market, where we have witnessed this 33% change in commercials positions. You may see that on the charts here. Amongst the largest changes in the past 1 year, it is a bullish COT change signal, maybe coming at a good point in time after we've been witnessing some weakness in oats market for the past few weeks. Going over to the 5 year chart, again, we can witness a more or less neutral extreme situation. So the most bearish extreme, and actually the last major COT extreme signal from June of 2019, back over there. And of course, bullish extreme levels could become even greater. There's plenty of space left to reach those very high extremes on that side. So this means we could see further decline in this market. Moving on to large speculator COT extreme, we have the British pound on top of our list with a 96 report extreme. You can see that on the charts over here. It is of course a bearish COT extreme, suggesting some weakness in the medium to long term. This of course can continue on. It can grow to even greater levels before we reach that stress point where the market goes much lower. Moving on to palladium, we have a 79 report extreme over there. Interestingly, this is a bullish COT extreme. So one might ask, is this that very rare occasion when we are actually going into a commercial capitulation, when margin calls force commercial participants to liquidate their hedge positions? Who knows? We'll see about that. It's a very interesting situation here. Very different picture than what we've witnessed in gold, silver, so other metal markets. You might want to check those out. We talked about oats, soybean meal. Might as well jump over soybean oil and look at Australian dollar. I know most of you guys are trading currency. So here we can analyze, well, it says 21 report for large speculators, but as you may see, these charts can help us better identify extreme situations. So we are, again, the past couple of weeks, since basically early this year, we were at this relative bearish extreme, which by the way was a very successful signal for us. But now we are again moving towards bullish extreme levels that might actually push this market much higher. But that would be a medium to long term goal for the Australian dollar. Now, of course, as I always say, there's much more to do here at COT Base, so I hope you will give it a try if you haven't yet done so. You can get access to all COT report types, other data types, the full COT history, by the way. Let me show you that for a moment. So if you come here, we're one of the unique services that provide an entire COT history for you. So, going back to the 1980s, that's quite interesting. We offer all the data types, the futures only, futures and options data that CFTC publishes, but we've actually made our own pretty basic mathematics, subtracting futures only from futures and options data to arrive at the options only COT data type, which is, I think, very, very special. You get the chance to analyze all sorts of data sets. Of course, you can look at all the markets. We're not always showing you all the markets here in these COT reviews. And you can do a more in-depth COT analysis by looking at, for instance, multiple report changes, where you look at 2-3 reports together on a look-back period that you can define on your own. You can look at the COT index, the MOVE index. You can use our special long-term trend indicator. And volume and open interest analysis, I believe, is something very, very good and a good supplemental tool for COT analysis. Of course, you can always go back in time and do a historical analysis on any report from previous years. So there's a lot to do here. I thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this review. I wish you a very great weekend, and I wish to see you next week. Take care. Goodbye.